DC Studios CEO James Gunn and DC Comics head grew up in the same neighborhood and even shares one interesting connection. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn and DC Comics head Jim Lee have a connection that many fans don't know about. Both of them grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and developed a passion for comics during their time there. Lee recently revealed that they both watched Richard Donner's Superman in the same theater, though probably not at the same time. Gunn and Peter Safran took charge of DC Studios in 2022 and made some crucial decisions, including the reboot of DCU into the new DCU. Jim Lee became a co-publisher at DC Comics in 2010 and became its sole publisher in 2020 after Dan Didio left the company. He was appointed the Chief Creative Officer in 2018 and the President of the company in 2023. Jim Lee recently appeared in an episode of DC Studios Showcase, the official podcast. During the interview, he was asked about his connection to the DC Studios head James Gunn. Lee shared that they both are from the same neighborhood via @official/IG. He shared that they both grew up in St. Louis. Lee also had an interesting Superman connection with Gunn to share. He shared, "We both saw Superman, the movie, the first one, in the same theater, not together." Lee further shared that he and Gunn were both attracted to comic books since they had a lot of free time growing up in the Midwest. He shared, "But because there wasn't a lot to do growing up in the Midwest, like we shared that escape of really diving deep into comic books. Back then, there was just fewer choices in everything right for TV, and so everyone had a lot more commodity in what they grew up on, and sort of the touch points of pop culture themselves. Very different today, but we had that shared experience." Gunn was born in St. Louis in 1966 and spent his entire youth life in the suburb. He attended the Jesuit St. Louis University High School and St. Louis University. Lee was born in Seoul, South Korea, in 1964, and his family moved to the United States after the Korean War. They lived in Warren, Ohio, before moving to Gunn's neighborhood. Lee first worked at Marvel before founding Image Comics and later moving to DC. At Marvel, he and Chris Claremont co-created the character Gambit. There was a rumor last year that Gunn was writing his own Superman comic, with Lee doing the art, via Bleeding Cool. While denying the rumor on a Threads post, Gunn shared about working with Lee, "Although working with Jim Lee would be amazing, I'd be dead if I took this on." Jim Lee also shares a connection with James Gunn's co-CEO at DC Studios, Peter Safran. Lee and Safran attended the Princeton University. Lee studied psychology while Safran graduated with a BA in political science. Lee shared during the podcast that they were there at the same time. However, their paths never crossed. Lee shared, "Peter Safran and we went to the same university, and so we were there at college together. Our paths had never crossed, but for sure we walked on same bit of pavement on the sidewalk together, minutes apart, I'm sure, over the 2 or 3 years that we've shared in university." Jim Lee further shared that he was sure he had crossed paths with James Gunn and Peter Safran many times in his life. Lee turned his attention to comic books after his college graduation, while Safran went to the New York University School of Law to earn a JD degree. He worked as a corporate attorney for many years before becoming a talent manager. Under Lee, DC Comics saw a huge comeback last year. According to THR, the company's new graphic novel format, Compact Comics, with its evergreen stories, Josh Brolin being cast as the DCU's Darkseid, here are 5 other actors who are a better fit for James Gunn's reboot. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn's DCU is officially underway, and it is high time a few casting choices are made for some key characters in the universe. The filmmaker and co-chief of DC Studios has maintained that no green light will be given for a project unless it has a solid script and seems to be giving time to set up solo films. However, all of them need to lead up to a huge villain. Josh Brolin, who played Thanos in the MCU, recently shared a fan art of himself in the design of Darkseid. This fueled the rumors that Brolin was still in talks with Gunn after he refused the offer to play Hal Jordan aka Green Lantern in the DCU. While casting Brolin as Darkseid, who is basically DC's Thanos, is not a good choice, there are other actors who fit the bill. The Spanish actor Javier Bardem definitely has the voice for Darkseid. The actor's thick, accented voice is menacing and can be grave when necessary. Bardem is an incredible actor who has played intense roles in films like No Country for Old Men, for which he earned the Oscar for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. He has been nominated 3 more times. In the film, he played Anton Chigurh, a hitman without remorse or conscience who is ready to kill any obstacle that comes his way. He is also twisted in a way that sometimes he just leaves it up to pure chance. Bardem nailed the menacing aspect of his psychopathy, and that is something he can tap into with Darkseid. The actor has featured in a number of blockbusters in the past few years, with his most noted role being Stilgar in the Dune films. While Josh Brolin circles around the role of Darkseid via CBR, James Gunn really ought to pick his Dune co-star instead. John Goodman may not look the part, but he certainly can voice Darkseid. The actor is best known as the voice behind Sully, the turquoise hairy monster in Pixar's Monsters, Incorporated. He has also performed on screen in various acclaimed films such as The Big Lebowski, Argo, Atomic Blonde, Barton Fink, Trumbo, and more. Goodman's USP is again his voice. The actor's drawl is iconic, and its booming quality would suit Darkseid very well. The actor has also voiced the Transformer Hound in Transformers, Age of Extinction and The Last Knight. He would be a welcome addition to James Gunn's DCU, especially as the voice behind Darkseid. Who better to play the agent of chaos and death than the former Hellboy himself? Ron Perlman is a man among dudes and exudes coolness whenever he pops up on screen. His screen presence is one of the biggest reasons why Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy films were such a hit, and he could bring in that same menacing quality to the DCU with Darkseid. Apart from the Hellboy films, he has also worked in Blade 2, Pacific Rim, Alien Resurrection, and Conan the Barbarian. He too has voiced a Transformer in Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. Perlman has superhero experience and has the tenacity to embody Darkseid both physically, practical effects or mocap, and with his voice. The Irish actor may be ready to find and kill anyone in his way in the Taken series, and that is the exact kind of energy that the DCU would need with Darkseid. Skilled, menacing, and with royalty, Liam Neeson oozes a sophistication that fits the stature of the new god. Neeson's incredible voice is also a huge plus for the character. The actor has already played a DC villain, portraying Ra's al Ghul in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. Neeson has the action film experience to pull off the physicality of Darkseid either through motion capture or by other means. Enough time has also passed since The Dark Knight Rises for him to embody another DC role. Keith David is one of the most prominent supporting actors in Hollywood. He has portrayed a number of roles in many acclaimed films. His signature quality is his recognizable, deep, and booming voice, which works best for the voice of Darkseid. David has played antagonistic roles before, and he could definitely pull off the new god with style. The actor has also voiced other DC roles before. He has portrayed Tobias Whale in Catwoman, Hunted, Dog-L in DC League of Super Studios CEO James Gunn and DC Comics head grew up in the same neighborhood and even shares one interesting connection. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn and DC Comics head Jim Lee have a connection that many fans don't know about. Both of them grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and developed a passion for comics during their time there. Lee recently revealed that they both watched Richard Donner's